I just got renamed myself.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. Okay.
I was Ian Russell a second ago. So we're
I
renamed.
see that still up there. You're up there twice. Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Super.
Cool.
Again, thank you for the time. And I know you're on a tight schedule. So if you don't mind, we'll jump right in.
Sure.
We're joined by Governor Steve Sisolak on 8 News Now. Governor, first of all, let me just say thank you for the time. We do appreciate it.
It's an honor and pleasure to be with you and talk to your viewers.
Governor, it has been 1 year since the first case of COVID in Nevada. The flags were flown at half staff, the video tribute put together by your office. In a year rife with challenges, what was the biggest one for you and your team?
Boy, I'm asked that question a lot. You know, what was the biggest, the hardest? We've come a long way in a year. So much has happened in 1 year. You can't even imagine. When I got elected governor the first year, we did our business, we had a session, and we're getting into our proposals in terms of funding education better and healthcare. And then wham, we got hit with a pandemic that nobody ever expected the magnitude of this. The decision early on to close the schools and to shut down the Strip was extremely hard for me. I mean, I consulted with all of my staff, all the scientists, all the medical examiners. And originally when we shut down the schools, if you remember, it was only for a couple of weeks that we shut them down, and then it went on. But I remember the day that I finally made the decision to shut down the Strip, Las Vegas Boulevard. I've told this story. I walked out on my balcony at the Grant Sawyer building and looked at downtown. You could see it was just turning the nighttime, and you could see all the lights on the Strip, and you could see all the lights downtown. And to think about shutting that down meant that those lights were all going to go out, and those people were all going to be out of work was really, really hard to do, because I knew the impact it was going to have, the toll it was going to take on human lives, the toll it was going to take on people's finances and their ability to support their families. And we did it, and I know it was the right thing to do. I'm glad we did it when we did, but it was difficult. It was really difficult to come to that.
It really, when you look down the Strip in those days, it was almost eerie, and think about each and every one of those people, as I know you do. When you look back at this year, what is something you are most proud of, and what is something, if you could get a do-over, a mulligan, if you will, something you wish maybe a decision was made slightly differently as we kind of look in a retrospective way?
Yeah, the thing that, and before I get to that, I want to say what you said is true. When I drove down the Strip, I had my detail, my security take me on a trip down the Strip one time to go to work more than once. And to see the eeriness of nobody on the Strip and nobody open, and you know, it was difficult. The thing that I am most proud of, or I'm happiest about, is you saw the absolute best in people through this pandemic, and you saw the worst in people through this pandemic. You had some folks that would not, chose not to comply with any of the directives and didn't want to believe that COVID is a hoax. But at the same time, you saw the best in people. You saw the Nevada National Guard. You saw them feeding people, giving COVID tests, cleaning nursing homes, giving COVID vaccines, delivering food, delivering PPE. They have done absolutely everything we've asked of them. All of the individuals that have donated, whether it's food, whether it's money, whether it's their time, to help a neighbor that was in need. If they knew they had a senior citizen living next door, they couldn't get out to buy. If you remember at the very beginning, you couldn't get toilet paper.
It's true.
You couldn't get wipes. They went and got it and brought it to their neighbors that weren't so fortunate. That was really heartwarming to see how much people sacrificed and did for other people. The difficult parts, the two parts were, one, when you deal with families of those who've lost a loved one, and you know that person couldn't get in to say goodbye, you know, when the person was dying, and they counted on a nurse being with them to hold their hand, to FaceTime with their family. That's how they got to say goodbye. That was difficult. That's extremely difficult, that people had to go through that and couldn't have a proper goodbye to a loved one, couldn't have a proper burial for a loved one, and people made an awful lot of sacrifices to that extent.
Governor, a lot of good news lately in terms of cases plummeting, especially in the past 6-7 weeks, sporting events coming back. If you could clarify with the fact that the governor's office for NASCAR weekend and Golden Knights games put capacity at 20%, and it seemed to be reduced to 15% from Southern Nevada Health District. We heard from Bill Foley and Chris Powell on their frustration with that, wanting the 20% that you talked about to be what happens. Can you explain what exactly happened there?
Sure. I talked to Bill, who I'm a big fan of both the Golden Knights, and the Speedway has done a tremendous thing for this community. We made a decision based on the medical advice I got, our science advice we got, a business and industry. They looked at all the plans, all these venues that they're going to put the people in. And I felt very, very comfortable going with 20% occupancy. They could still be socially distanced. They could still be safe, I thought, for everybody involved. We made that part of a directive. I made that statement. And then the local jurisdictions, whether it's the county or the city or the health district, said, no, we don't want to give them 20%. We only want to give them 15%. I know there was a lot of frustration with both Chris and Bill as it related to that, and I understand their frustration. I know that they've had people that have been waiting a year to get into a race or to get into a hockey game, and I understand that. And like I say, I wanted 20%, but the locals said they wanted less, so they ended up with less.
Governor, more than half in a recent poll supported your handling of the COVID pandemic. Over half. Were you, as you look at the 43% that maybe did not, how do you speak to those that you're still trying to bring on board? And what does it mean to you that over half do approve of the job you've done?
Well, I appreciate the fact that over half approve of the job that we've done. It's not me. I've got assembled a great team. I mean, whether it's my staff here in Carson City with me, or it's the doctors and the medical professionals, our COVID task force, our COVID advisory committee that rolls out all this stuff. We're taking the best information we can and moving forward. For the people that don't support what I'm doing or how we're doing it, I understand that. I still represent you. I still want to do the best I possibly can. But some people just are, I understand that most people think you should wear a mask, but they don't want to be told to wear a mask. And I get that, but I'm telling you, it works. It makes a big, big difference. I wish people would look at it from the point of view of, you don't wear the mask for yourself as much as you wear it for the people that you love and the people you care about, the people you live with, the people you work with, the people you live near, your family members. And I would encourage everybody to please do your part. Now is not the time to let up and take your foot off the gas, so to speak. Now is the time to double down and continue. As we get more and more people vaccinated every day, we get thousands of more people vaccinated. We get thousands of shots in people's arms. So every day it's getting a little bit better.
Yeah, we
need to hold on for a couple more months in order to get where we can get to that immunity of 80 to 90%, then we'll be in great shape.
Yeah, the news continues to get brighter. Well put. And you aptly pointed out the individuals, the people that have lost their jobs. We talk about the 295,000 cases in Nevada. We talk about the over 5,000 that have died. The individuals that have lost their jobs, that are struggling with a way of life that is new to them. A lot of issues with Dieter. You've talked a lot about this. How do you explain what went wrong at times with Dieter, and are we turning a corner?
Yeah, and that's a great question. I appreciate the chance to address that. Dieter is in a difficult situation. We had a system that was set up that when we originally shut everything down and we're in the throes of the pandemic, our claims to Dieter were 25 times what they normally were. Instead of getting 12,000 in a week, we had 300,000 claims in a week. I mean, no system is set up to handle that kind of a volume. The past legislatures have not invested into a new computer system technology for Dieter, which is unfortunate. I wish they would have. They have not staffed it up the way they should have. At the same time, you can't staff it up for 300,000 claims a week when you're only getting 12,000 claims a week. Everybody would be sitting around and we'd be paying them to do nothing. So that wouldn't work. That was a problem. The system was not set up to handle this. And hopefully we will learn as we move forward, so we'll get it better. Also, the biggest problem, I've talked to our director today, we have 500,000 claims for UI or PUA. And they're estimating 95% of them, 95% are fraudulent. 5% of them are legitimate. So what happens, not only are you hurting the state and the businesses, because these small businesses that exist are going to have to, the money that we spent, they've got to put back into the Dieter trust fund, to get more money in there so we can continue the program going. And they've clogged up the system so much with these fake claims and phony claims that it's really impacted legitimate claimants. So I'm talking to my staff. I think it's important that we do something about this. And this isn't 475,000 different people that put in claims. This is a group, a syndicate, whatever you want to call it, that are putting in tens of thousands of claims and getting all these cards and getting the benefits. And I think we need to take a bolder step in terms of investigating and prosecuting the perpetrators of that, because they continue to put in fraudulent claims. They're not questionable where you don't know if you should get it or you shouldn't get it. These are people putting claims that have no rights to it. They're putting in multiple claims under different names, stealing identities. It's just a really sad situation.
95% fraudulent. A question about vaccinations. We are getting a lot of shots in arms in Nevada. We did find out that Nevada's vaccine allocation rate was using 2014 to 2018 census estimates, which was impacting the numbers. Are you happy with the vaccination process as of now, and what do you want to see different to improve it?
Well, I'm happy, but I can always be happier. We have a weekly call the Governors Association does with the President's Task Force on vaccines every week. I look forward to the call because every week they've upped our allocation. We're getting more and more and more. It's unfortunate that they're using old population estimates, which kind of got us. It's hurting the states that are getting more people moving in. It's helping the states that people are moving out of. So that's a problem for that. What I want to see happen, and we're going to continue to expand our sites that are going to be made available to go get vaccines. I want to see more and more of our elderly population get the vaccine. My mom's 94. She got both of hers, so I'm thrilled with that. She can feel safer, but we need to get our senior citizens vaccinated, and we need to do more in our minority communities, and we're gonna get into those communities, our Black and brown communities, where there's a little more hesitancy to get the vaccine. But I want to open these up and give out every single dose that we could possibly get coming our way. And I think we're going to continue to do that. Right now, you've got this many vaccines and this many people want the vaccine. But it's slowly starting to change where we're going to have this many vaccines and to wait out here the people that are going to be willing to get them. So we need to continue to educate people, to encourage them to go out and get the vaccine. And the first chance you get to get an appointment, get a vaccine, I don't care which one it is. If it's a needle with a vaccine they're putting in your arm, go get it. We're all going to be better off as a result.
Governor, we appreciate your time. Glad to hear your mom, 94 years old, got the vaccines, is doing well. And thank you so much for making time for us here on 8 News Now. We do appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I know she watches news, so she'll probably be hearing this.
Okay. Hello to the governor's mom.
There you go.
Thank you, Governor. All right. Bye now.